right, man. We're on live
We're
on
jamming, man.
Gamechangers Live with DJ Irie, the one and only. What's up, baby?
What's up, brother? Man, my brother, man. It's been a long time, man.
It's been a long, long time, my friend.
It's
Hey,
good to
so
see
we
you.
are here with DJ Irie, and so international sensation with a
Oh,
enthusiasm and larger than life personality. You know, currently serving as the official DJ of Carnival Cruise Lines, Irie's partnerships range among several who's who of blue chip companies and brands, so including the three-time NBA world champion Miami Heat, who are playing in the
the
Eastern Finals
Eastern
tonight.
Conference Finals tonight, kicking off, man, against the Celtics. Let's go Heat, baby. Let's go Heat.
And superstar Jamie Foxx. So, born in St. Croix, he's also the man behind Irie Music Corp,
Yep.
co-owner of Loose Anchor Clothing Company, Poochie's Pizza, which I had no idea that you were co-owner of Poochie's Pizza. I love that.
Yeah,
And,
man. Listen,
and Venture Projects LLC Venture Capital. So he's the number one choice for countless celebrities. You're seeing him all the time, any high-profile events around the world. He's been on the American Music Awards, MTV VMAs, FIFA World Cup, International Premier, Tennis League, Daytona 500, Super Bowl,
damn,
NBA All-Star, corporate events. So
damn.
Louis Vuitton, Google, Red Bull, Hublot, General Motors. Man, where haven't you been?
Man, no, my first time home in a while. That's for sure. Like
Yeah, seriously,
no,
because you are always on the road, man.
no, that's wild. It's funny, like just hearing you, list all those things that bring back a lot of memories, and it's just like, yeah, it is kind of crazy, man. I've been around the block once or twice,
Couple times, man, a couple times.
Yeah.
And what's for those of you who don't know, so he and I went to school together, right, at FIU.
FIU,
FIU,
Great.
baby,
Golden
Panthers.
Panthers, baby. Yeah.
And I go back, I remember Irie starting off at the radio station there before you went
Yep.
on 9 Jams, right? Humble,
Hmm.
humble beginnings, right? But man, did so this show is about game changers, people who have changed the game in their industry, man. And not only, are your accomplishments something tremendously notable, right? I think you might be the real Mr. 305, right? But but what I love about you and the way you bring it is that although you've been to these, the tops of the mountains, right? All these amazing events and everything else like that, you've managed to stay so humble and so grounded. Man, tell me about where does that come from?
um, I've got to say, well, first of all, thank you for that, Sergio. I think that comes from my roots. You know what I mean? Which my parents are just two of the most incredible people I've ever had the pleasure of growing up with.
Wow.
Seriously, it's funny because they're the ones that instilled that drive in me. I remember my dad. I remember one time that I had to, just work, late into the night on a particular project that I needed to turn in for my class. And my dad came in late before he went to bed, and he was like, son, in life, when you work, you got to work hard, and when you play, you got to play hard, right? And it's funny, that's something that's so simple that they told me, but I remember, working on that. Now is like, well, I want to play hard. So let me get this work in, right? Let me get this thing done because I don't want to just play. I want to play hard, damn it.
Yeah.
And but amongst all the other lessons that it taught me, it's humility. You know what I mean? Like humility is something that's really big, in my family. As we have a lot of different accomplished people in my family. It was never so much about celebrating individual accomplishments. It's about us all coming together and lifting each other up,
Yeah.
and being that support system, you know. So it's like, yeah, we kind of work hard and do our thing, and if you have a win or specific success, then yeah, that's great, and it's something that you can look at and be proud of. But nothing ever changes who you are. Nothing should ever change who you are. And, of all the things we've been able to do and places we've been able to go, I mean, it's been a blessing, a huge blessing. And it's probably made me more of a rounded individual, but it never has and will never will change who I am.
That's right. That's right. And so they say that, money amplifies who you are, right? At your
Sure,
core. And
sure.
so, if you don't have, if you're selfish, if you're just, self-centered, you add money to it, it's like adding fuel to the fire, right? But if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
around and you
I agree.
yeah, and so you've exemplified that through your Irie Foundation, right? And lifting others up. That's had a huge impact. I mean, not only in, South Florida, but, around the world, right? Tell me a little
Yeah,
bit about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I would say if there's any particular, blessing that I am just most excited about and most thankful for, it's the opportunity to be able to start the Irie Foundation, and coming from a very, I'd say, focused vision to having an impact in places like, South Africa and Jamaica, just so far reaching outside of the bounds of Miami. It's just I never would have thought I would even have that kind of an opportunity. But in terms of starting, it's really just one of, I've always believed that, you know, any kind of good fortune is to be shared, you know.
Yeah.
And growing up in Miami and having the kind of mentors that I have, people like Alonzo Mourning, and seeing the impact Alonzo's having on the community, you know, I felt like, there was some things that, I couldn't just pass the buck on, meaning that, okay, well, yeah, see, look, this is something that needs some attention, but somebody else will come and address it. I was like, well, if not me, then who,
Right.
and, that's when I said, okay, well, I'm usually there. I try to be there as much as possible to help out, you know, other individuals and other causes. If I'm available and I can do it, I try to step up as much as I can. So when I realized, wow, this is something that, an endeavor that I wanted to take on, I was like, well, let me pick up the phone and make some calls to some of these same individuals, and see if they'll be there for me. And what was so enlightening and humbling was that every call I made, it was like, absolutely, I got you. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And it was really good to know that all these same folks that I'd been there for all these years, um, were there for me at the drop of a dime. And that was pretty special. But my thing is that, coming back to the roots of the Area Foundation, it's really about opportunity. I've seen so many kids that really have so much promise in them, have so much talent, and what's missing is the opportunity, right?
That's right.
And if I can, be, more offer a conduit, or a bridge, for that talent to get put to use, and that promise to get put to use, then that's what we've been trying to do, and it's a blessing to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you've touched so many lives with that. It's got to be amazing. Just a really grateful thing to do, and stay grounded with that, right? Uh,
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
you said like you needed an opportunity, right? When you were starting off, and somebody gave that to you, and so if we pay that forward, in the universe, we're going to get more of that in return, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm a big proponent of that. I am here today because people took chances on me, right? And people believed in me. Um, Shoot, a quick story to share with you. Right before I got to FIU, I was dabbling, DJing a bit, and a gentleman I met. His name was Frank Rodriguez, DJ Lips. I share the story as much as I can
Yeah.
because I couldn't afford turntables. And I didn't want to put that burden on my parents, and I know I really wanted them, but I ended up meeting this guy Frank. We became friends, and I expressed to him how I'm looking for turntables. It just so happened that he had a little side business where he would rent them, right, to other DJs doing parties and stuff. And he was like, you know what? I got a pair that I'm gonna lend you. And he lent me a pair of turntables with the mixer and the whole nine. And I was supposed to use it for maybe like a week or two, and I reached out to him when I was done, and I was like, man, thank you so much. when do you want me to bring him by? He was like, you know what? I'll let you know when I need him back.
Right.
And a month went by, and 2 months went by, and 6 months went by,
Oh God.
and I'd reach out to him, and he was like, listen, do not call me about this again. I'll let you know when, right? And I didn't realize, but he was steady watching me and watching my progress and watching how I started doing some gigs here or there. And long story short, he never ever asked for the equipment back ever.
Wow.
And years later, after I really got into my career and made a little bit of money, I sent him a check for the value of the equipment and then some, right? And then some. And I watched my account for the next couple of weeks, and it didn't go through. And one day, this is years later, I get a picture sent to me, and it was from Frank, and it was the check that was on the wall in his house. And he says, that's where it's gonna stay, and he told me how proud he was of me. And
that's amazing, man. What a story. What a story.
That's how life's supposed to be, that's pretty incredible.
And if you're able to do that for somebody else or for a group of people, wow. I mean, like, how fulfilling is that, right?
It really is.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you can't take the material stuff with you, right? But you can leave your legacy with others, and they live through that, right? And they carry it on and they pass it on to somebody else. That's where I think it's the real kind of game changer lesson there, right? It's, how to leave a legacy by fulfilling, others' dreams.
Absolutely. Listen, for folks, God bless everyone, and whatever path you want to take, is your prerogative. But from what I've seen, what I've learned, if you live a life that's just, give me the blessings, give me the blessings, give me the blessings, right? And just take them and run and take them and run. Okay, kudos to you and to the awesome life, you're living. But what does that speak to your legacy, right? No matter how big or how small you may think it is. In my opinion, legacy is doing whatever you can, on a big level, small level, whatever you can manage, to make your community a little bit better, make someone's life a little bit better, make this world a little bit better, I believe that's what we're all intrinsically tasked to do, right? Because we're here, quote unquote, living off the land, right?
Right.
We gotta water that grass, right? We're gonna spread some fertilizer, you know what I mean, so the grass can keep growing, and grow bigger, for more people to enjoy. I just kind of feel like if we had, even more people, kind of taking that particular approach, collectively, gosh, we could just make this world such a better place,
Yeah, and to that point, it's, the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. Right?
Absolutely. There you go.
And
there you go. And we can all spare a little bit of water,
Exactly. And so, let's talk about some opportunities right now. So we're on live on Game Changers Live with the world famous DJ Irie, one of the best, most humble and amazing people in the world. So really honored to have you on, brother.
Pleasure to be here, man.
Let's talk about opportunities, man. So you got your big gig when you became the DJ of the Miami Heat. And I remember when that happened, no NBA team had a DJ, that was like, what does an NBA need a DJ for? Like, and so now it's like, who doesn't have a DJ? And, that opportunity that you spotted that nobody else saw. And right now with COVID, with all the shakeup in the economy and people's jobs up in the air, it's important for people to really open their eyes and open their, their opportunity, let's say, to see things that perhaps they didn't see in the past. How did that opportunity come about? Like, whose idea was that, and how did that happen?
Well, you know what, that's a great story. There's a lot of lessons there on many sides. So let's go back to 1999, okay? And the Heat just completed the American Airlines Arena, just for its construction. The Heat, they were at the Miami Arena, right? So they're getting ready to make the big move, and they were going to start the 1999-2000 season in the brand new American Airlines Arena, right? Well, this is a really interesting time because, I'm DJing like a lot of the hottest clubs on the beach, right? There's no social media, right? There's no social media back then. I don't even think there was even texting. Because maybe it was like you gotta, hit me on your 2A or your pager, right? Yeah, your beeper, right? So, the folks that were on the marketing team at the Heat, they're the ones that came up with the concept of having an official team DJ, right? And there was a couple of people that were on that committee, so they were throwing around different names. Somehow my name came into the mix, right? And a plurality of the committee was like, "Yo, that's the guy. We should talk to him about this, right?" So here's what's funny. So at that time, it's not like you can just look me up in the phone book, or like that. To be able to contact me, you had to know me or know somebody directly that knew me, right? So in these folks, we there was no 6 degrees of separation. We were just completely detached, different worlds. So no one knew how to get in touch with me, besides a few of the people that would go to some of my clubs, right? So I was DJing, I think, at Level nightclub at the time. And the way the booth was set up, the booth was actually, you had to go through the bar to get to the booth. So these poor folks learned later on that they were coming to the club to talk to me, staying till they couldn't keep their eyes open anymore, but they couldn't get to me because you can't go behind the bar, right? So I'm thinking probably some of the people that were probably waving their hands. I'm like, "Oh yeah, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care."
We want to give you a job. Hey.
Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, you go ahead. So they, were basically about to give up. Here's what happened. Fate would have it that the week before this conversation happened, I was doing a party on Palm Island, right? Miami Beach.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in, and it was a very private thing. It was like 30 people. I kind of, got a feel of all the people that were there shortly after the party started. So the guy came in, and I could automatically tell he wasn't part of the party, right? But he comes in, and very confident, and he's hanging out a little bit. And he comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I really like your vibe. Are you available next week?" I'm like, "Available to do what?" And he's like, "Listen, I'm having a birthday party, and maybe I'd like to hire you." And I was like, "Where's this party gonna be?" He's like, "Oh, it's gonna be at my place." I'm like, "Where do you live?" He's like, "Oh, I live right here on Palm Island." I said, "That's all you got to say. We can work this thing out, right?" I'm like, "I like Palm Island." I said, "We'll work it out. What's your number, right?" So we talked and we figured out. Funny thing about it, I didn't realize that there was some apartments on Palm Island as well. It was not all multi-million-dollar homes, but that's neither here nor there, right? So anyway, I go show up, and the event is at the apartments, right? So do the party, and I'm like, "Damn, who is this guy?" Because there's like, like some Heat players there, and different executives from the Heat, whatever. I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna do something with the Heat." Next week, he's back at work. He's walking down the hall. He overhears the folks in the committee saying, "Gosh, I wish we can get a hold of this DJ Irie guy." He stops, turns back, and says, "Did you guys just say you're trying to get a hold of DJ Irie?" They're like, "Yeah, like he just did my birthday party. I can call him for you if you want." So they're like, "Yeah, please, absolutely." So he calls me. Now check this out. This is a good lesson. It's called "When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong." That almost happened to me, okay? Because they call me, I go down for a meeting, we have this great conversation, but then I asked them, okay, because I had only been to one game my whole life prior to that meeting, right?
Crazy.
And I'd been to one game, and I said, I didn't really fully understand, the audience that I would possibly be playing to. So I asked them to, kind of give me a description and, what they thought of the musical direction, et cetera, et cetera. When they start describing, what they described was their season ticket holders, right? Which I understood that that's really their main focus, when they described the season ticket holders, I was like, wait a minute. These aren't the folks coming to my club. These are the folks listening to my radio show. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to go make a left turn.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that's not what I do. So I walked away saying I wasn't the right guy for the job. I walked away.
Wow.
And it's funny because something struck a chord with them. And I believe it was my history of like at the skating rink, you know, because the skating rink,
Hot Wheels.
It really, Hot Wheels with the wheels, man. You know,
right.
that was special because, you know, I had to, you know, my musical vocabulary had to run deep. You know what I mean? I was playing for all kinds of people from all walks of life, you know, and all genres, and so they were very adamant that they wanted to start it with me. We didn't even talk about money or anything, you know. And I left, and I was like, thanks, but you know, no thanks. And they convinced me to come back for another meeting. And here's what changed everything for me. Up to that point, I thought that they were just jumping on the bandwagon of maybe another team or something, you know. So I was like, well, let me just ask you, what do they do? How do they do it in New York then? You know, how do they do it in LA? And I'm asking about all these different teams, and they're like,
they're not doing it.
Yeah, because they're like, we want you to understand that we have a very robust research team, and we've checked not just in the NBA, but we've checked across all the other, you know, major sports. This doesn't exist. That's why it's so important for us to get this right. That's why we really want to try this with you. And I was like, you don't say, you know.
Yeah.
And it really was more of that challenge, you know, being the archetype, you know, and really coming out there. So I was like, you know what? I'm never one to back away from a challenge. And that's what really got me. It's like, well, you know, let me try to make this successful. You know, let me try to, you know, leave my mark on this. And that's how that came about.
Yeah, you blazed, man.
Three rings and 20 seasons later, you know, that's kind of wild.
And the 3 rings weren't part of the contract. Those are bonuses, right?
Those are bonuses. I'll take that bonus any day of the week. You know what I mean? Listen, if they'd have told me I might get 1 ring, and I'd be like, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, done. That's all you had to say.
Matter of fact, I didn't even believe it. You know, when we won the first one in 2006, you know, they called me. I remember getting a call a couple weeks after saying, I got to come in and get a fitting. And I was like, guys, this is a really, really cruel joke. You know, like I'm the DJ, like I didn't do any layups. You know what I mean? I don't have any boards. I don't have nothing. So why the hell would I be getting a ring? They're like, you are a very important part of this organization, and we need you down here to get size for your ring. And I was like, awesome. I'm on the way.
Awesome. What a great story. What a great story. Hey, and you know, I've always wondered this. I was watching you like in the All-Star game, you know, in baseball All-Star game, or the home run derby, and you're there out in center field,
dodging balls and shit.
Like,
you know?
What is going through your mind when you're out there and you're playing to this audience of like whatever 60,000 people,
dude?
What is that like?
Let me tell you something, okay? Listen. It is incredible and always awesome to, you know, rock out, you know, at the American Airlines Arena for the Heat fans, right? I've also played other arenas, you know, etc. But when you're in a ballpark, you know, with, you know, 60, 70,000 fans, right? And it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yes, because you know it's All-Star Weekend, it's a home run derby, and everyone's all fired up, you know, and you know, hearing your own voice, you know, reverberate throughout the stadium, and then getting that response from the assembly. It's overwhelming, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It's overwhelming. I mean, I'm blessed that, you know, this is now something that's a little commonplace for me because I've done it for the past 6 years, I think.
Yeah.
I believe, like 5 or 6 years. I think it's 6. So you get a little used to it, you know.
You know what to expect, but it's
because
still
you know what to expect, you know. But it's still kind of mind blowing, you know, every single time because for a moment, you know, for these moments, you know, the floor is mine. You know what I mean? It's my show. It's my music, it's my voice on the mic, and I am commanding these 70,000 people, you know, and it's
actions,
yeah,
behavior, how they
oh
feel.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is an awesome experience. There's no other way to. It's an awesome experience. It really is. It really is, especially for someone like me. That's what I live on. That's my oxygen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my oxygen in terms of that energy. So it's like, you know, just give me the whole tank. You know, I mean, just give me the whole tank. You know, that's what it's like, dude. You know.
Hopefully everyone could experience that in one form or another in their life, man.
Yeah,
It really is a blessing, man.
So. I
Dude,
certainly hope so.
DJ Irie on Game Changers Live, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Sharing your stories, sharing your information on the foundation. So you can
sure, man.
On Instagram, DJ Irie, at DJ Irie Events and Irie Foundation. Yep. That's how they can get in touch with you, man. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great one, brother.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Sergio. God bless you and keep up the great work, man.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
You got it. Take care, man.